So you guys don't even know how much you know. You know a lot. The first couple of meetings that we had, I gave you a crash course on occlusion. All the rest was very clinical, because I believe that this is what matters at the end of the day. I mean, you get a lot of pharmacology and all kinds of stuff, but at the end of the day, when you will be in your clinic, you have to know how much antibiotics you need to give a person, and if they are allergic, you need to know what are the other options, right? So, someone asked me today if you're going to have occlusion in the summer, and I said, you're going to have occlusion the rest of your life. Okay, so this is for the lab part. For the other part, we had one quiz that I have not decided yet if we're going to calculate, because even after 20%, it looks good. I have to decide. Any exercise that was submitted is a 20%. I have a couple of people that, as much as I looked through the pages and my assistant did, we couldn't find their pages. One of them came to see me and found his. So you're welcome to come and browse through the packages that I have there. If not, just resubmit. Fall midterm and the final. Okay? It's really hard to fail on course. Please don't be the first one to do that. Okay? Like I said, I really don't care about the grades. I just want you to know occlusion. Okay. So this is what is going to be covered by the exam. Terms. Go back to the lectures from the last semester. What is mid-obtrusive? What is lateral obtrusive? What does it mean working and non-working side? What does it mean working? Okay. If you write it down, I'm stopping. No one is writing down anything. This is the last time I'm saying it. Now, as we go over the terms, if you have a question, raise your hand. But don't write anything, just listen. Okay? Think about working, non-working. T, TMJ. Okay? Non-working condyle versus working condyle. What is the path each of them is doing? How is this related to side shift? Progressive side shift, immediate side shift. We touched on those. Term like centric relation versus ICP. Okay? Do we use centric occlusion? No. Why don't we use it? Why is centric occlusion so confusing? What is this term? Why did they use the term? Why don't they use it anymore? Why do we use retruded contact position versus ICP? Why do we use retruded contact position versus centric occlusion? What happened when centric occlusion, nobody's writing down anything. No one. Why do we use, what happened when ICP and centric occlusion are the same? Or I should say, retruded contact position and ICP are the same. Are they the same? How many of the population is the same compound? Let's remind us what it is. Okay, everybody, put your head back. Close your eyes, put your head back. Think about the beat. And very slowly, lie down to the first contact. That first contact is retruded contact position. Now, if you bite a little tighter and you move your head forward to a normal position, that little slide, if you have that slide, you just slide it from retruded contact position into ICP. Okay? Now, unless you had a really good orthodontics done or a doctor finding any interferences, I believe that in almost everybody there's a little slide. Okay? We talked about anterior guidance. Wait, anterior guidance. We have anterior guidance going protrusion. We have anterior guidance going lateral movement, right? And the anterior guidance is either on canines or on something else. The something else would be group function. And you saw from your articulators that sometimes even the laterals take part in lateral guidance. Okay? We talked about when do we differ between group function and pathology, which is interferences. Remember? What would be, when would it be just group function? When it would be interferences. Remember? And what would be the difference? How do we detect what's the problem? We talked about the fact that people can have canine guidance on one side and group function on the other side. And in most of the cases, as we grow older, we may become group function, but most of us start off as canine guidance. We also talked about the different kind of occlusion and their prevalence for different guidance. For example, we said if you are a class 2 division 1, most likely you have group function. Okay? If you are angle 2 class 2, most likely it will be canine guidance. Okay? Did you start learning ortho? When are you starting? Ever?
Next year.
In your residency? Okay. Okay. You already know most of what, most if not all, the general dentist knows about ortho. Then we talked a little bit about articulators. Okay, remember there are those screws in the back and there's this plastic thing in the front. And we talked about why do we have the numbers on the articulator the way they are? And what is the distance between the condyles on the articulator? What is it?
110?
110. How much is 110?
11 fingers. Right.
You know, you all know, right? You all know. Good. See? So how many fingers are 110 millimeters? 8. Girls, how many millimeters are 110? How many fingers are 110 millimeters? Because our fingers are a little smaller. How much is every finger? A centimeter, right? So 110 millimeters, how many centimeters are there? 11 or 12? 11, good. So that's more or less 11 fingers. Okay, but for girls, because men have larger. Okay. We learned about face bones. We have 2 types of face bones, right? We have the one that is arbitrary. In the arbitrary, we use the ears and the navel, right? And the measurements are more or less the same. The fact that girls have a very small head and some boys have a very big head is calculated into it. And there is an error in it. But I guess, and that's some of what you're going to learn, put this away, or I really get upset. So some of them are in the fact that we're using an articulator that is an average. What does it mean to you that we can use things that have so many errors in them and still come out with a good product? What does it mean to you? What does it mean that we can use instruments that have so many errors in them and still get a good product? Yeah, I mean, you know, you and I are different, and we can get more or less the same crown, and we still can survive. Some of us will need 2 seconds of adjustment, the other ones will need 15 minutes. Okay? So, this is not math. This is art. Okay? Now, what's the difference between the arbitrary phase bow and the kinematic? By the way, kinematic, is this a name of a phase bow? Is this after somebody's name? Kinematic? No. Okay. What does the word kinematic mean? Come on, did you just, what is it? You all know. What is kinematic coming from? Okay, you can Google it. What does the word mean? It's Latin, I think. No? What does it mean? Movement? Motion. Something, right? And the reason is we're looking for the real axis. Okay, we use all this striking machine just to find the real axis. How much benefit do we get out of it? Very little. Okay? We hardly ever use it. It is earlier, didn't it? Okay. So we talked about room function, we talked about you don't know that, right? So it's when more than just the canine is involved in lateral movement, it means that there's a group of teeth that lead a exclusion of the rest of them. Okay? Some people are going to call this a unilateral balance occlusion. I removed that question from the exam. And it can be found in normal dentition. Most of the time in older people, but not necessarily. Okay? Okay. Let's talk back about ICP and centric relation. When we are in centric relation, go back to your retruded contact position. Retruded contact position sits on a centric relation line. Okay? It's the first time the teeth touch in centric relations. Remember that. Retruded contact position is the first time the teeth touch in centric relations. Okay? What's the difference in vertical dimension and in profile, meaning overjet, overbite, between the ICP position and the retruded contact position? Which one is more open? ICP or retruded contact position? Any decision? Retruded contact position, correct, because the jaw goes this way, right? In centric relation, and in retruded contact position, the jaw is backwards and open. Remember this. So, in terms of vertical dimension, the jaw is open. Do you all agree? What's going on in terms of profile? Is it more retruded or more protruded? Retruded. Okay? So vertical dimension is more open and overjet is extended. Make sense? Okay, when is it not extended? When is it diminished? In what kind of bite, if the jaw goes backwards, the overjet, the profile gets smaller. Class 3. I mean, if we go this, we go this, right, and we go backwards, it's diminished. Makes sense, huh? Okay. However, most people with class 3 cannot be brought into any centric. They usually are there already. Okay? Oh, I have a question for you guys. Which one do you think have better lateral movements? A carnivore or a herbivore? You know those terms? Herbivore? Why?
Because they grind it. It grinds.
Exactly. The herbivores are kind of like mashing their food, okay? Carnivores, I'm not even sure they have any lateral movements. They just go chomp, chomp, chomp. Okay? You should see their teeth too. Herbivores, cows, have the flattest teeth on earth. It's like, okay. Okay. Let's talk about this. Which position is more repeatable, reproducible, whatever? ICP or centric relation? And the answer is? The answer is depends. Correct? What does it depend on? Teeth or lack thereof. Right? If we have teeth that occlude well, listen carefully, if there are teeth that occlude well, ICP would be the most repeatable. Okay, people with teeth that can be suctioned out, meaning they're really flying in there and moving all around, I'm not sure how much their ICP is reproducible, even though they have to. So it's depending on the situation. Do you all understand that? The only reason we're using centric relations is because when there are no teeth, listen carefully, when there are no teeth, there is no other reference. When there is no other reference, this is supposedly the most reproducible position. Okay? We talked a little bit about the high restoration. How much damage it can cause. How much it's important to check your patient before we leave the chair. Taking into account that most of them are not, and their ability to actually tell you that, oh, it feels great, let me go, is real. Okay? The main thing that you have to remember is, unless we plan to change anything on the occlusion, sometimes we do plan to change something on occlusion, all the other contacts in the mouth should not be changed, whether it's increased or decreased, due to our fluid, or our crown. Okay? There are too many cases when a patient leaves the clinic with way more contacts than he did before. And in most cases as dentists, since we don't want to be woken up in the middle of the night, we tend to reduce too much of the occlusion, and all of a sudden teeth that did not have much contact before do have it now. And slowly but surely, the population is losing the reticle dimension over the years. like this. For different ones. Okay. So, you know what a high restoration can cause and how we prevent it. We need to check contacts on the tooth before the one we restored, the tooth after the one that we restored, and the teeth on the other side. And that's exactly what I made you check when you did your wax. Okay? And sometimes the fact that the paper registered points or contacts on the tooth doesn't really mean that there's contact there. I showed a lot of you that you show nice contact, but when you put a shear stop, it flies out. There's no resistance. Okay? It can register points because the paper have its own thickness. However, there's no real contact there. And it's important to have both. Okay. Occlusal splint, guard. We talked a little bit about TMD. And the main thing that I tried to show you was, first, we don't know anything. Second, we should not treat anything we don't know about. Third, that you have to take a really good history of the patient. And it's really important to screen out patients that are cuckoo. And in most cases, the only thing we can do is give them a night drop. Okay? And if it gets more complicated, just shift them out. Okay? Don't get into grinding on their teeth, doing anything heroic, because you'll end up in court. Okay? We talked about how much the anterior guidance and the eminence thickness affects the way the teeth disclude. What you want to take out of it are two things. One is when both of them are flat, we may have issues. And what kind of issues? What can happen? Interferences. And the other thing is, we can only control the anterior guidance. And one way to control anterior guidance would be wax up. And if you want to send your lab the information on what new restoration you want to do there, what are we using? The little red thing? The custom anterior guide table, okay? It's a way to communicate with your lab, okay? Occlusal arrangements. What kind of bite do we know? Spit. This is part of spit. Tooth to two teeth. Excellent. Custom fossa. Custom marginal ridge, which is exactly like tooth to two teeth. Okay, good. Some people will also say root function versus canine guidance, but this is more about motions. But in terms of how they come together, these two, there are more. There's tripod, which we say we don't want to have, and all that. Okay. We talked about the term centric stops, working costs. They have all kinds of names. You need to remember that there's a difference between which costs are functioning in normal occlusion versus in crossbite. For example, if we have a posterior lift, crossbite. Okay, think about it. Posterior lift, crossbite. Okay? costs are the centric costs, talking about the mold? Which costs are centric costs when we have a left crossbar? Mandibulolingual, maxillary, buccal, on the left side. What about the right side? This can be a question. Okay? Now, if I ask about the left side, I may give you an answer about the right side. So, read the answers are. Yes. Oh, talk about the exam. Okay.
With the crossbite on the left side, do you automatically assume that it like shifts to the right, or like how do you know if it's like crossing over to the left or to the right?
You remember when we did ortho? I talked to you about forgot the word again. Anyway, anybody speaks English? Okay. Part of the communication between you and me is when you send me a patient and it will say he's got a left posterior crossbite. That's what you have, meaning that the right is normal. So if the question would say he has a left posterior crossbite, right side is okay, it's normal.
But on the left side, are the teeth shifted like to the left or to the right?
Why? I understand your thinking, but we have things that are local. You can have an anterior open bite, the rest of the teeth are normal, right? Okay? Which reminds me something about the exam. In a lot of the questions, there's a question, there's a bank of answer, and then you need to choose from. I know. Is this videotaping?
What's that?
This. The iPad.
On my iPad?
Yeah. Is this videotaping?
No. Do you want me to bring it to you?
Put it down. Let me put my makeup on. Okay. So, there is going to be a question, optional answer, and then you need to pick up the correct answer that will have A and B, B and C. Okay? Drink some coffee before you come to the test. You have to be doing some thinking. Okay, so we talked about this. Okay. So, what's the answer to this question? Okay, is this protrusion? No. Is this protrusion? No. Is this mediotrusive or laterotrusive movement? Is this a I need more information answer? Okay, who thinks it's mediotrusion? Who thinks it's a laterotrusion? Okay, why laterotrusion? It's the correct answer. Why is it laterotrusion?
Because you know that the air is pointing towards the buccal side of the tube, so it's obviously moving towards the high part of the bathroom.
That's part of it. The other part of it is the direction of the arrow. If the direction was not straight, but a little bit this way, or this way, it would be a different answer. What did I want to show you? If you have a question of this type, think really, really carefully pathway on which teeth. And you have to remember, it's not the articulator. It's really confusing because you all think like this. The articulator goes this way, that way. No, it's the mandible that moves. Okay? And this is what I just wanted to show you. When it's more like a 90-degree angle, it's more lateral protrusive. Okay? When it's more steep, it's medial protrusive. Okay? You always have to think who is doing what movement on. And I think if you remember this picture, it's going to make your life easiest. Okay? For example, this here is a lateral protrusive image of those teeth on those teeth. You understand? Those teeth are not moving at all. You know that, right? When the jaw moves this way, the cusp is going to kind of like travel this way. You get that? You don't get that? Let's do the easy one. Okay? What is this? Protrusive. So it means that that tooth moves forward? No, it means that that tooth is projecting forward onto the upper tooth. Now, what is this here? Protrusion. So if protrusion, the mandible moves backwards? No. The mandible would move forward, but the pathway the upper molar is going to do on top of the lower molar will look like it's going backwards. I know, crazy. Right? These are the path the opposing teeth will do on the during the exam, if there is a question like this, I want to see everybody doing this. Right? So let's say we're talking about a left lateral occlusive movement. Okay? Now, if this is my upper molar, okay, and this goes this way, okay, my molar is doing a movement that goes this way on that tooth. But this tooth is doing a movement this way. So if there is a question like this in the exam, I expect everybody to start doing it. What is all the red area? Okay, first of all, is this upper or lower? Is this upper or lower jaw? Upper jaw. Okay. What is this area? The red area. What are you laughing? Okay, the red area is the no-fly zone. Okay, no-fly zone. Meaning there is nothing that will go on in this area in terms of the pathway of the opposing teeth. Unless we got into a really bad crash. Okay, but other than that, we don't really ask questions about retrusion. If there was a retrusion position, it would just go like this arrow go this, it will go down. Okay? But we don't ask about retrusion. Okay, so try to remember this chicken thing and fly zone and no fly zone. Okay? I don't want to talk too much about this. I don't think you can remember I have a question I want to say. So let's move on. What's the difference between this and that? 7 differences, raise your hand. Yes. Okay, you're sitting really far because they're saying on this side and on this. In the red? Oh, okay. So what's it, is this image and that image? No, what's the difference between mine? Okay, that's what I'm saying, you don't see well. Because the reds are here and here on both sides. Oh, okay. And here we only have them on the front. So what's the difference between the two? Okay, which one is a group function? So group function versus? Okay. If you don't see this, if you can't see this, you missed the question on the exam. So remember this. Don't write it down. You can listen. It works. Okay? This shows you a path. Why aren't there any marks here for lateral movement? Because there's exclusion. What digit exclusion? Okay. Now, there is mark number 1 and mark number 2. Which one are the lateral movements? Number 1 or number 2? Number 2. Okay. You may see something like this, which means that what clasp is contacting this spot. Now I don't want you to do this, I want you to do this. Okay? So which clasp is touching this here? Okay, I'm not going to confuse you, I'm not going to tell you, just think about it. Don't write it down. Okay. You remember this? Sure. Couple of things. This is only one view of this envelope of motion. An envelope of motion talks about the whole range of extreme movements. Okay? Where is rest position? A, B, C, D, or none of the above? None of the above. It's somewhere here. What is B? ICP. In rest position, you all remember what rest position is? Okay. In rest position, we're a little open. A little open, not like duck, just a little open. Okay? So it's going to be a little underneath here. Okay? What else is going on inside this? Habitual or masticatory cycle or whatever we call tone. Okay? This can change with different postures of the head. Remember? You want to go over what everything is, or you remember? Yes, if you want to go over it? Yes. Okay, what is A? Okay, let's start with rewind. Where is the nose? In this area or this area? Nose is in the E area or in the A area? E. Okay. So, what is A? Retruded contact position. It is also sitting along this line that represents centric relations. Okay? we can be, or we are in eccentric relations along all this line. Okay? Now, this diagram represents the way the teeth, the lower teeth are moving. Okay? It does not represent the TMJ. Do you understand that? So, along A to G, the lower front teeth move backwards and down. Down and backwards, like this. These are the lower teeth, okay? Can you see this? What happened to the TMJ? It's rotating. Is it just rotating? Just rotating. And at this point, what happens? The TMJ stops just rotating and starts gliding, right? Where is it gliding? Forward or backward? Forward. Okay. So if the TMJ glides forward, why do the teeth continue to go down instead of go like this? Why?
Down.
Is there an answer to a why?
It's translating on incline state horizontally.
Okay, there is no why. The two are not the same thing. The TMJ is a very limited thing. It rotates and glides. That's all it can do. It goes back and glides back and rotates back. That's all the TMJ does. Up, 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 up. TMJ doesn't go this way, that way, like this. Okay? The teeth, however, do have a more range of movement. Okay? The lower teeth can go forward, can go down, can go side. Okay? The TMJ doesn't. So the question of why this is doing, the TMJ does this and the teeth go, it's a stupid question. It's okay? It's important for you that you will understand they're not connected necessarily. Okay? So, what happens when G, with the point G to A? What happens? What happened to the teeth? They go up and forward. What happened to the TMJ? Is it going up and forward? Okay, do you get it? They're not necessarily going the same way. For example, the teeth go from A to E, they basically go forward, it's protrusion. Is the TMJ going forward? Partially. The TMJ will go rotation and forward and down. That's what the TMJ can do, okay? For example, what is D? Edge to edge. And what is E? Okay, the lower teeth from D to E are going where? Up and forward. Is the TMJ going up? Is the condyle going up and forward? No. Do you get the message? Do you get the message? Okay. So we said what A was. What is D is ICP. What is C? So what is D? So why is it not the same point?
Got a big edge.
Because there's a bit of a movement along the edge to edge. Now, do we all have the same kind of markings? No. What does it mean that somebody has, let's say, a very steep B to C versus a very shallow B to C? What's the difference? Over pi, over j, okay? The way, this is anterior guidance. You all get it? This is the path that the lower teeth are doing during protrusion movement. Okay? Now, can you all get to here? To the halfway between A and G. Can you? Show me. Okay, what position your head should be if you are A to G? Like this, okay. So, first bring yourself to A, which is the recruited contact position. Go ahead. Okay, that doesn't mean laying back like this, it's putting your head back. Okay. So bring yourself to the recruited contact position and slowly open, but hold your hands on your, yeah. So you will feel when you just rotate. It's not here, it's here. Can you feel when you just rotate? Yeah? Okay. Can you feel where you get to the G point? You do? I'm proud of you. Okay. Now, everybody at F. So during the test, I expect people to do a lot of, I'm going to sit there and just enjoy it. It's not fair that I'm only the one running around and making weird motions. Are we done with that? Okay. Why is it important for me to put those two on the screen? What's the difference between this and that? What is it, by the way?
Vertical.
Are we still talking about Purcell?
Yes.
Okay, what is this view?
Frontal.
Okay. If you have a question about that involves this diagram, why is it important if it's this way or that way? Are they the same? Are they the same? Exactly. Where is the nose? Here or here? One or two? Two. One or two? So if I trick you and I put this with this, and I ask you what is this point, you really want to know what you're looking at. You understand? There may be a question that should try to show me if you understand the 3 dimensions of the cell. Make sense? So what is this point here? Is it ICP, recruited contact position, or the G point? Or maybe a combination. What can it be? It can be RCP, it can also be the G point. Right? Because we're talking about a 3-dimensional view, okay? So, if this is marked number 1, and this is ABC, so number 1 would be equal to what? A or G. You get it? Now, if this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, which point is 1 here? 3. So it's important for you to make sure you know what you're looking at. It's always true, you always have to see which one is left, which one is right, which one is forward, which one is back, okay? What is that circle here? Home. Okay, what's that dot in the middle? What could it be? terms of ABCD, what do you got? C and D, what else can you read? F. Okay? So we said rest position. What is rest position? It's where we are most of the time, which is the bar on 17th Street. No, seriously, where we are most of the time. What do you mean by where we are? Don't answer Nova. What do you mean? Where we're comfortable? What else?
When our muscle is like.
First, we're talking relation between jaws. Right? I know it sounds like, of course. Okay? So, rest position is a position when the lower jaw is at rest. I mean, the muscles are like relaxing and no. Okay. Give me more. What's rest position? Where we are most of the time.
When your muscles are in equilibrium.
Say that again?
When your muscles are in equilibrium, they're not.
Absolutely not.
Why not?
No. I saw those answers in one of the worksheets. Most of you, no. When you cut and paste, change fonts, okay? No, it's not a real equilibrium. It's not a real relaxing font. It's, I don't know.
So what are muscles doing?
Hanging out. They are hanging out. It's a relaxing. There is no, I don't think anybody ever gave it there's so and so much tension in it. But okay, the rest position is this little gap between the upper and the lower teeth. Okay? When we measure gaps, we usually talk about between 2 and 4 millimeters, okay? Now you all did all those measurements, so you all know how much inconsistent and unreliable and changeable this space is. But you all know that we're using that information as if it's written in stone when we do complete dentures. Remember, in complete dentures, we don't have, rest position is the space between ICP. Freeway space is a space between ICP and rest position, so it's like so and so millimeters. When we don't have teeth, we're missing part of that equation, right? So we are looking at vertical dimension at rest as a set point, and we go 2 to 4 millimeters above to set the occlusal plane for our dentures. Okay? But since you guys know how inconsistent it is, if you calculate somebody 4 millimeters, and what can you do? They used to be 2. Then you entered a wrong calculation unknowingly into their denture. So I'm saying, you all know, don't say to your teachers that it's a very unreliable. But when you come to the dentures, they're going to ask you, how much is the vertical dimension at rest? Reduce 2, 3 millimeters, okay? And you will say yes, because that's what we do, okay? We don't have another measure. Okay. What is this red line? Let's say someone's postel doesn't have all this. When they only have a straight line like this. What's is one of the few and shows it that their recruited contact position in ICP are the same. They don't have this stuff and then they go to ICP. When they close, they just go immediately to ICP. Make sense? What's the green one? What's wrong with this girl? What don't they have? They don't have anterior guidance. What can be the reason? 1, open body. 2, edge to edge. 3,
Missing two.
missing tooth. Maybe others. What other? Flat, everything. Yes. Class 3. Okay? And what's the difference between this one here and this one here? What is this? B to C. What's going on here? There's a sharp, while this is pretty. Okay, and if I ask you to angle classify it, which one is this, which one is that? Big picture. Which can be this, which can be that? Okay, angle 2. Is this 1 and 2 or 1 and 2? Which one is this? Is this angle 1 or 2? Angle 2, division 1 or 2? Which one separates really abruptly? Angle 2 which? 2. So this would probably be angle 2, 2, and this is going to be angle 2, 1. Make sense? Okay. You know all this. When we angle classify someone, what are we using for angle classification? What's the rule for angle classification? First molar with first upper lower molar. First upper molar what? Middle buccal clasp, tip against what? The buccal groove of first lower molar, okay? So, what's the difference between angle classification 1 and angle classification 1 malocclusion? You know there's two of them? There's angle 1, there's angle 1 malocclusion. What's the difference between the two? Angle 1 malocclusion means that the molars are in a perfect relationship, something else is wrong. It could be opened by crowding, the canines are not in a perfect, whatever, okay? Let me go to more fun part. So we all know this. Okay. Do we always have to restore a missing tooth? Anybody who says yes, raise their hand. You're such liars. You will see, you get to the clinic, somebody's lost a molar, oh, we have to put an implant there. We have to. Why? There's going to be a bite collapse and teeth will move around like, okay, when did you have that tooth extracted? The guy is 76. When I was 16. all the teeth are in perfect shape, sitting there, but we have to put an implant there because his bite might collapse. Okay. So do we always have to restore missing tooth? No. Let's say we are extracting, what is it here? Number 30. What can happen? We have A, D, C, or D. All the eruption of the opposing tooth? All the above? Is it possible there's going to be no change? Okay, so let's say this is a test question. What would you answer? What would you do if this is the question? Raise my hand. Exactly. Okay. Now, if I say, okay, no questions, what would you do?
Right on the paper.
No change? Okay. So, it really depends, correct? We don't have enough information. Whoever wrote this question is an idiot. Okay? So, if it's me, then raise your hand. Okay? And then I'll have to find some excuse why I wrote this question. But what's important to me is for you to understand that any of those can happen, okay? But this does not necessarily mean that a missing tooth always has to be replaced. Are you all with me? Okay. We did that. Oops. Okay. So a patient with severe wear needs a full mouth reconstruction with crowns and fixed partial denture, which means a bridge. Fixed partial denture is a bridge, okay? After taking impressions and pouring models, what type of interocclusal bite registration will you take? What are the two options that we have? Centered relation